Hi everyone, my name is Becca and I'm going to take you through a Pilates workout for beginners. I have done a previous video all around beginner Pilates, so around the principles of Pilates, the breath work, all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go and check that out. But in today's workout, we're really going to focus in on that slow controlled movement that is what comes with Pilates. So whenever you're ready, meet me in the middle of your mat and we will get started. So coming into a seated position, sitting up really nice and tall, lengthening up through the crown of your head, shoulders are away from your ears, and then we'll slowly close down the eyes. We're going to start by taking a few deep breaths together. So taking a big inhale through the nose, and then exhaling out through the mouth. Again, inhaling through the nose. And this time as you exhale out through the mouth, I want you to start to draw your belly button back towards your spine. Again, inhale through the nose. And then exhale out through the mouth, draw that belly button back to your spine, starting to draw the rib cage down towards your hips, so really engaging through your core. One last time, inhaling. And then exhale, draw the ribs down to the hips, bringing that belly button back to your spine. And then when you're ready, slowly start to open your eyes. Taking your right hand up overhead and then leaning over to the left, feeling a nice stretch through the side of the body, making sure that both sit bones are down on the mat. And then coming back to center. This time your left hand comes up and then reaching over to the right. Again, making sure that both those sit bones are down onto the mat, feeling a nice stretch through the side of the body. And then coming back to center. We'll get started today on all fours. So coming onto your hands and your knees. Your wrists want to be underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. We'll start with some cat-cows. So we're going to inhale, you're going to open up through your chest, you're going to arch through your back. And then as you exhale, you're going to tuck your chin to your chest, you're going to round through your spine. Good work. Again, inhale, open through the chest. Exhale, round through the spine, start to draw that belly button back towards your spine, engaging the core. Last one, inhale, open through the chest, arching through the back. And then exhale, round through the spine, tucking your chin to your chest, really pushing out through the palm of your hands, drawing that belly button back to your spine. And then coming into a neutral position. So when we say neutral position, we just want to make sure we have a really nice flat back. So as I said, your hands are underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. And your pelvis is also in a neutral position. So we don't want to tuck our pelvis under or over. You just want to make sure everything is nice and long. From here, you're going to extend your left leg away from you. So your toe is down on the mat. And before we start the movement, I just want you to check in on your posture. So you want your hip to be down towards the mat. We don't want to be open through the hip. Both hips are down towards the mat. If you have sore wrists, you can come down onto your forearms. You will still feel this exactly the same. Pushing out through the palms of your hands, out of your shoulders, and look towards the edge of your mat. So we're not tucking our chin under, we're not arching our head up, just look towards the edge of your mat. From here, keeping that leg nice and long, I want you to imagine that I'm there with you and I'm just going to pull your leg slightly further away from you. So really lengthening out through those toes. I'm just going to shuffle myself forward just so you can see. So really lengthening out through that left leg. From here, you're going to lift that leg up, lower it back down. Inhale to lift, exhale, lower down. Keeping that hip nice and still. It's really slow and controlled movement here. It's not about how high you can get your leg, how fast you can swing it up. We're just slowly lifting and lowering through that leg, activating the glute. If the breath work ever gets too much today, don't worry too much. That will come with time. Just continue to breathe naturally. All I will ask is that you don't hold your breath. Keep it going, really holding that core nice and strong. So as we spoke about when we did the breath work at the beginning, you're drawing your ribs down towards your hips and your belly button is back towards your spine. We don't want to be collapsing through that rib cage because then we're not doing the movement correctly. We want to keep to the right form so that we're feeling it in the right places. On this next one, just hold that leg lifted. Hold it here, check back in on your form so your hip is down. And we're really going to slowly circle through the toes. So tiny little movement up and around, like you're circling round a side plate. Just breathing naturally here, focusing on that form. Pushing out through the palms of your hands, keeping that core nice and strong. Just 2 more. On this last one, just hold it here. We're going to reverse those circles. Up and around. You can do it. Keep it going. Just 4 more. 3. You can do it. Keep it going. 2. Last one. Hold it here. You're going to flex through that foot. You're going to bend the knee to a 90-degree angle. We're going to go into what we call donkey kicks. So you're going to lower that knee down and then send the heel to the ceiling. So you lower it down. Lift and squeeze that glute. You can do it. Just 5 more. Keeping that core nice and strong. Just 3 more. You can do it. For 2. Last one. And release it down. Shake that tailbone out. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you're extending that right leg away from you. Again, remember those points. You want your hips down towards the mat, pushing out through the palms of your hands and keeping that core nice and engaged. Lengthen that leg slightly further away. So imagine I'm there and I'm pulling your leg slightly further away from you, but still keeping that core nice and strong. Okay, so we lift that leg up, lower it down, lift and squeeze, and lower. Inhale to lift, exhale, lower it down. Try not to open through the hips. So what our body naturally wants to do is open the hip as we lift the leg. Really want you to challenge your body by keeping that hip down towards the mat. Just 2 more. On this last one, hold the leg here. We're going to go into those circles, so tiny circles with the toe, up and around. Squeezing that glute at the top. You can do it. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse those circles. Keeping that core nice and strong. Try not to dip through your rib cage. Just 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Hold. Flex through that foot and bend the knee to a 90-degree angle. As we're going back into those donkey kicks. So you lower the knee down. Lift and squeeze through the glutes. So you're really sending your heel to the ceiling. Still remembering those points are pushing out through the palms of your hands. Rib cage is down towards your hips. Core is switched on. You can do it. Just 3 more. Squeeze at the top for 2. Last one. And then open those knees nice and wide. Sit back into a well-deserved child's pose. So sending your hips down to your ankles, stretching out through the fingertips, opening up through the rib cage, and then coming back onto all fours. From here, you're going to bring your knees in slightly, and you're going to shift your weight forward. So walk your hands forward slightly and shift your weight forward. Core is engaged. We're going to go into shoulder taps. So you're going to bring your right hand to your left shoulder, place it back down. Left hand to right shoulder, place it down. So what I want you to imagine here is that I'm holding onto your hips and you can't rock from side to side. So we don't want any rocking from side to side. We lose all control of the movement. Really small, controlled movement here. Keeping that core nice and strong. You're here for 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Well done, everyone. Flipping onto your side now. So coming all the way down, you can either have your head rested in your hands like this, or if you have sore wrists, you can come lay all the way down. Whichever option is best for you. You're going to bend your knees to a 90-degree angle. Your heels are going to be in line with your hips. And I want you to take your hand to your top hip and just push it away from you slightly. So you create a tiny little pocket of air underneath that bottom rib. It just helps really engage that glute muscle even further. Placing your hand down onto the mat or on your hip, you can keep it there so it keeps that top hip away from you, which option feels best for you. From here, you're going to lift your heels off the mat, squeeze those heels together, and I want you to keep your hips still the whole time. Try not to rock back off those hips. You're going to open that top knee up, squeezing the heels together, lower it back down. Inhale to lift, exhale, lower down. I got that breath work wrong. You're going to exhale to lift it up, inhale to lower down. Keeping it going. Again, like I said, try not to rock off those hips. Really squeezing that glute at the back. So working our glute med now, which is the side glute muscle. It's a really hard muscle to activate, but doing these slow and controlled movements really helps activate them even further and even quicker. Because I'm telling you, after this exercise, you should be feeling it. Really squeezing those heels together, keeping that core nice and strong. So try not to flare through your rib cage. Your ribs are sliding down towards your hips. Your belly button is back towards your spine. Just 3 more. You can do it. For 2. On this last one, just hold that knee lifted. And just want you to pulse that knee back. So imagine my hand's in front of your knee. You can't come forward. You pulse it back. For 8, 7, keep going. 6, 5, 4, 3, you can do it. 2, 1, and release it down. Tap out that glute. Well done, everyone. Pushing yourself up and then flipping over to the other side. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So just starting with those pointers again. So your heels are in line with your hips, your top hip is away from you, ribs are down towards your hips, core is engaged, shoulders are away from your ears, lifting those heels off the mat, squeezing the heels together, opening up through that top knee, lower down, lift and lower. Let's get it right this time. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower down. We did it. Keep it going. We call this movement the clam. Obviously it looks like a clam. And like I said, it's really working that side glute muscle. And normally when our glutes are quite weak, it can cause lower back pain. So if you ever suffer with any kind of lower back pain, lower back issues, I definitely recommend training your glutes a little bit more, as it can just help take some of the pressure off of our lower back. Not long left to go. You can do it. Just 4 more. 3, 2. On this last one, hold it up. You know what's coming. Tiny pulses back. Remember, we're going back and back. For 8, 7. Really squeeze the glutes. For 6, 5, 4, 3. You can do it. 2, 1, and release it down. Tap it out. And then slowly rolling onto your back. We're going to finish with some core work. Like I said, not long left to go. Hands down by your side. I want you to tuck your tailbone under, so you're going to imprint your lower back into the mat. One by one, you're going to lift your legs up into tabletop. So your legs are at a 90-degree angle. Your knees are stacked over your hips. Keeping the hands down, really engaging your triceps into the mat. From here, you're going to tap your right toe down to the mat. Then lift it back up. Left leg taps down. And lift. Inhale to tap down. Exhale to bring it back in. Toe taps are a really effective exercise. I really like to incorporate these into all my classes, not just a beginner class. All my classes. It's a great fundamental exercise as it's working our full core. Keeping it going, focusing on drawing that belly button back to your spine, and still focusing on drawing your shoulders away from your ears and keeping your pelvis nice and stable. Just 2 more. Last one. Hold it here. You're going to bring your hands behind your head, keeping your legs in tabletop. I want you to take an inhale to prepare. Exhale, you're going to curl yourself up. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower down. So keeping those ribs down towards your hips. Lower back is staying imprinted into the mat. Legs are at a 90-degree angle. And I want you to make sure that your elbows are nice and wide. So we don't want to be pulling our elbows in. We want to keep them nice and wide. Head is really heavy in your hands. Your belly button is back towards your spine. There is so much to think about in Pilates. You don't have a second to stop. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Keep it going. Just 4 more. For 3, 2. On this last one, just hold it here. We're going to go into bicycles, really slow and controlled. So you're going to bring your right elbow to your left knee, extend your right leg away, and then you're going to switch. And switch really slow. Try look towards your back elbow. Just 6 more. 5, 4, you can do it. 3, 2, 1, and hug it in. Just rocking from side to side. Bring both your legs over to the left. Look to your right. Feeling a nice release through the core, through the centre. And then bringing both legs over to the right. Looking to your left. Enjoying this moment of stillness. We have one more thing to do and then we are all done. Bringing your knees back in, hugging everything in, and then really slowly rocking and rolling your spine up to a seated position. Crossing your legs, placing your hands down, and then coming onto all fours. So we're going to finish with a 30-second plank. Now I know that can sound quite daunting, but you can do it. I believe in you. So placing your hands underneath your shoulders. If you do have sore wrists, you can come down into a low plank, so you can come down onto your forearms. Whichever option feels best for you. So coming into that plank, I really want you to send your weight out through your heels. Coming into that plank position. Okay, the clock has started. I want you to focus on, again, your form. So try not to have your hips too high or too low. Really pushing out through the palms of your hands. Keeping that core nice and strong. Everything is centered. Everything is still. You can do it, not long left. Keeping that core nice and strong. Drawing that belly button back towards your spine. You can do it. For 5, 4, you can do it. 3, 2, 1, and drop those knees.
Push yourself back into a child's pose. Well done, everyone. You'll be so glad to know we are all finished. You worked really hard today, so you should be so proud of yourself. Not only for finishing the workout, but for just getting onto your mat and making that decision for yourself.
Coming up into a seated position, we will finish with one last deep breath together. So placing your hands on your knees to start with, just focusing back in on that posture. So sitting up really nice and tall, lengthening through the crown of your head. Shoulders are away from your ears. Ribs are drawing down towards your hips. Belly button back toward your spine. From here, just dropping your hands down by your side. Taking a nice big inhale through the nose. Bringing your hands together. And then exhaling out through the mouth, bringing your hands down to heart center. And you are all done. Amazing, amazing work today, everyone. You should be really proud of yourself for getting on your mat today and spending the last 20 minutes prioritizing yourself. If you're not already, make sure that you subscribe so we can work out together again. And hopefully I will see you on the mat very soon.